time for a new update, and today we're going to be talking about the second key in our ongoing series on the Keys of Compassion booklets. For those of you who are not familiar with the keys are higher dimensional tools that were given to us to be able to do emotional clearing and restore balance to our lives and heal ourselves and restore our health. And they are also there to activate the thymus and change DNA from carbon to crystalline, because when you activate the thymus using the keys, because they will help you do that, they will help you get that amazing multidimensional little gland that you have in your body working at the higher level. And so it will realign, reconnect, and reactivate your 12 strands of DNA. So today we're talking about the second key, which is let me try to get this here, the contracts and promises, the second key of compassion. I use this key over and over and over in my sessions because it contains a higher dimensional principle that without the knowledge of it, you cannot release yourself from being the victim. Therefore, you can't reclaim your power. So that higher dimensional belief and principle is about soul contracts, hence the name contracts and divine contracts and promises. So what is a soul contract? A soul contract is an agreement that is made between two souls during the inner life. And the purpose of the soul contract is to change a core belief. Now, how do you change the core belief? Well, you do it by scripting a lesson, and a lesson will be an event that will come along in your life that will trigger the core belief and cause you to act out of that belief, which then is the behavior. So when you enter a soul contract, you do it because the thing about beliefs is that you can't see them. So, you can't turn your eyeballs inward to see your core beliefs, which are like little programs running in the background in your subconscious. So what you do is you enter into a contract with another soul and say, would you act out this core belief? Show me what that core belief does in a person's life so that I can begin to see it. And of course, I will obviously be experiencing the same kind of challenges, but I won't be able to recognize it unless someone shows it to me. So it's like the difference between thinking about something and putting it on paper. Putting it on paper really kind of makes it become real to you. It helps you become clear about what it is that you're working on. So the other person says, "Great, I'll be happy to do that." And the reason they do that is because they're trying to learn the lesson as well. So maybe they'll play one aspect of the belief out in their behavior, and you'll do another, like the aggressor and the submissive part. So then the next question obviously is, how long do they have to play the contract out with you? How long does it last? Well, it lasts until one of you learns the lesson. One of you understands, like, aha, I get it. This is my behavior, and this is the belief that's creating this behavior. I get it. And at that point, you're no longer angry at the other person, because you will be angry at the other person when they're acting out the behavior, and that's a dysfunctional behavior. It's going to create irritation for you, which it's supposed to. So when you stop being angry at them and realize it really isn't about them, they're just playing a role for you, and you become aware of the core belief, and you change the belief, that's when the contract is over. At the same time, when the contract is over, you've released them from having to play that out for you, and then they can go on and either move out of your life, or if they stay in your life, their behavior towards you will change because you're no longer judging and condemning them, which you do when they're playing out a behavior that irritates you. So how will your life look after the contract is over? It will smooth out. Things will begin to balance out in the areas where that core belief was creating problems. So an example would be like if you and your husband or your wife well, I have a client that I can give you an example of it. It's a husband and wife, and he is a businessman, obviously, and every time he would get involved in a business and really get it up to a certain point, it would crash. And it would usually crash by someone would take advantage of him within the business, rip him off, kick him out, or whatever. And of course, she was angry because she was always supporting him to that point, really, really involved in his business. Like she had nothing else to really do but be involved in his business. And then when he would crash and burn, she would get angry at him and make him feel more like a failure. Because now she isn't allowed to go and do the things to nurture herself that she would want to do that she could do if the money was there. So then she has to go back to work, and she's super resentful that she has to go back to work because her husband can't ever seem to get a business off the ground beyond a certain point without it crashing and burning and costing them everything. So I explained to her the purpose of, contracts, and I said, you guys have the same pattern and you got the same belief and you're acting it out. And she could not see how she was doing that. Well, in his businesses, he was always involved in nurturing and taking care of other people, being for other people, and he would never take care of himself legally by covering himself legally in his business ventures. Therefore, people could come in and rip him off and betray him, and he has no legal recourse because it's like, oh, they would never do that to me. He was too trusting. All right, so he didn't nurture himself in that way. On her end, the way he was marrying her is she was so focused in his business and helping him get successful, and also believing that she could not go out and lay by the pool and go do the things she wanted to do for herself because she had to be there for him. She had to constantly be on guard that no one was ripping him off. Therefore, she had no way to nurture herself. Then, of course, because she's so in control of him, when it fails, which it is ultimately going to do, she gets angry at him and blames him. So what she couldn't see is that she had not given herself permission to go out and nurture herself, one of which one way would have been to let go of needing to control what happens to him and just have faith that whatever, it really doesn't matter what he does, she's going to take care of her and find ways to take care of her. She couldn't see that that was going on and that was the mirror. And once she does, though, she isn't there yet, but once she does, her life will tremendously change. She will no longer need to leave him or need him to be different. It won't even be about him. It'll be about, you know what? I can take care of me. I can go out and do things I want to do. I don't need him to be successful for me to do it. I can do it on my own. I can nurture me. I don't need a man to do it for me, because she was trying to get him to get to a point where he could nurture her. But you don't even need that. You don't need millions of dollars to nurture yourself, obviously. So that was the contract between them. So I hope that will be very helpful to you. I'm sure all of you have contracts going on with the individuals in your life, whether it's a partner or a boss or a friend. And wherever there's a conflict, there's a mirror and there's a contract. So hopefully this will help you, and enjoy using the second key. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, and I will talk to you next week. Bye-bye.